I'm trying to remember if I give a damn. You can pack it up, give it up, 'cause hey, I am just who I am.
What's up, Texas Metalheads? Rusty Connor here with Lone Star Metal, doing a little bit different than what we're used to. I got Christopher Shayne here of Christopher Shayne Band on his tour through Texas. How we doing, buddy?
Doing great. Doing fantastic.
Well, those following Lone Star Metal, this is fun. There's some backstory to all these giggles, so we'll let you in on that in a little bit. Those of y'all that have been following Lone Star know this is Chris from Whiskey 6, a.k.a. Chrisky 6. So he's got a new project. Tell us a little bit about, we won't dwell on the disillusion of Whiskey 6, but what's this new thing that you got going on? What's this new twang that I'm hearing from you?
Basically, with what we want to do, this is kind of what we've always wanted to do. When you play with hard rock and metal, typically you find that we kind of got into the cycle of wanting to be heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And after a while, we kind of forgot who we were or where we were going. And so when Whiskey 6 decided to not be a thing anymore, me and Dave were like, well, let's just keep going and let's start from where we wanted to start from. So that's kind of where this came from, basically. So, and you know, we're still playing a couple of the Whiskey 6 songs just because it's fun, and it actually translated over, but yeah, so.
Awesome. Well, I know Turning Stones is out now, so tell us a little bit about, there's some, as you mentioned, there's some Whiskey 6 trails on there, but there's also, it's a very eclectic album. I love it. I dig it. And tell me a little bit about the recording of that, like, you know, what the process that led up to Turning Stones.
So me and Dave kind of got together 6 months after Whiskey 6 fell apart. And we kind of, after some mental restructuring and everything like that, we kind of looked at each other and said, let's keep going. Let's keep trying this out. So we got together 3 songs, and I called the producer from the last Whiskey 6 record, and I said, hey, we got this idea. Do you want to work with us on it? He's like, yeah, totally. So he flew us up to Detroit, and we recorded at his studio. We had those 3 songs, and as we're working on them, it was a 3-day weekend, and as we're working on them, so it was just me, Dave, and him, and we're the only people who really played on the record. And we started to have all these ideas at the end of it. And so we flew back, and we just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and then we booked another weekend and recorded the rest of the record over that weekend. And then we just decided we had an album. It was still just me and Dave at that point. So it was interesting that we found other people who liked the record and who really wanted to be a part of it. We found Mark, and we found Trevor, and we found Zach, and then it just all kind of came together and actually started to work. So it was literally just, let's go record some songs and see what happens, and then it's like, oh, we have a record.
So it's a project that turned into a full-fledged band, basically. Cool, awesome. Well, as I mentioned before, you're on your little miniature Texas tour, Lone Star tour, and tell me a little bit about your adventures on the tour, and one of the reasons why we are giggling so much at the beginning of this interview. So how's the tour been?
It was good. You know, I love Texas so much. So, like, you know, I told my manager, I told my booking agent, like, just get me out there. I don't care what happens. I just want to go. So we book it, and each show has had its own unique fun to it, and that's what makes Texas just awesome. There's video out there of this one where the tent blew off of us and rained us out. So, you know.
And I've got video of it, too, that will make its way somehow into this little interview when it goes to post.
Let's post that one up and just see what happens.
It's awesome timing on my part, because I just got the GoPro out, and then you blew the roof off the place.
Blew the roof off of Texas, man. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. So.
Awesome. So, talking about tours, what's next? I know you guys have played some pretty big-ass shows with Leonard Skinner and Molly Hatchet and And what's on the horizon that you can speak of at the moment as far as touring?
As far as touring goes, we're kind of taking the next month off to work on the next stuff that we're recording. But then we're going to start hitting up. What can I talk about? New Orleans is going to be announced by the time this goes out, so no worries there. So that'll be with Shooter Jennings, Molly Hatchet, Blackfoot, and another band, and they would kill me if I didn't mention them, but that's where I'm at. But that'll be in New Orleans. That'll be around October 13th, I think. So, yeah.
And I know in our conversations, Turning Stones just came out, but I think some of that hiatus is you guys starting to work on the next record already?
Oh, yeah. We got a really cool team that's starting to work on it. Those people I can't talk about, but once we can start posting about it and sharing those experiences, it's really cool to see the people who have now joined on to this and who are helping it become a thing and really helping us cultivate this sound that we stumbled upon, kind of a thing. So we're in the process of polishing. We know the songs we want to put out there. We know the songs we're doing. But right now we're gonna just kind of hyper focus on a handful of them and just cycle around them a little bit and see if we can find any of the polish there and get things really good. But yeah, so that'll be the next month. So
awesome. So I'm gonna hit you with some harder questions now. So of the songs on Turning Stones at the moment, if you could only play one the rest of your life, which one's your baby right now? And this could probably change in 2 hours when we talk again, but
Dude, it always changes.
Right now, who's your baby? Who's your favorite baby?
Right now, my favorite baby is River Revival, especially playing it live. Like, everybody gets involved, everybody sings along. There's a big crowd participation thing. It's got the groove, especially on the record. You know, we got to bring in some guest singers, and they're singing on it, and you know, it turned into this thing. It was also the scariest song to write because, okay, so the story of that song. That song started.
It's really what I'm looking for.
I know. That's what you want. This is the fun stuff. So we're doing here, Dave. Yeah, come on in.
Hey, Dave.
You're equally a part of this history.
Yep. Where'd he go?
This is Lone Star.
Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I saw that coming.
So I was telling him the story of Revival. Yeah. And so he had sent me Take Your Time, and he had all the chords arranged and everything like that. And I sat down with my guitar, and I'm sitting there trying to learn how to play it, and not figuring it out one bit. But I wrote this other cool thing, so I sent that back at him. I was like, hey, I didn't figure out what you needed me to figure out, but I did write this. What do you think of that? He's like, dude, let's forward that. Let's just go with that. So we started working on it, and I told him, I was like, all right, I got an idea for the bridge. From this second to this second, I just want total silence, and just trust me on this. So we're sitting there demoing it in our living room.
That was an exercise in patience or in trust. It was like, all right, so nothing's going to happen here. Okay.
Yeah. So and then I was like, all right, so set up the microphone. I'm going to do this. So I got the idea. So and you know, it started going back and forth. And after about 5 layered tracks on top of it, we instantly just went, oh well, okay, we figured it out. But yeah, it was one of those things. Like it was super scary because we'd never done something like that before, and I kind of wanted to play. So yeah, that's kind of how that song came about.
So the loaded question, Dave, I'm going to give it to you since you showed up. You've got a bunch of babies on that Turning Stones, and if you could only choose one baby, who's your favorite baby right now?
Wow.
You can't take his answer because he just told the story on that song.
It's a tough one. I'd say either Find Our Way, because I just think it's a beautiful song. It's one of those ones that was sitting around on my, I had recorded for years, and it was completely resigned to the fact that wasn't shit ever going to happen with it. Totally cool with it. strummed through it one day at rehearsal, and Chris was like, "Ooh, what's that?" And then it just kind of went. Love that song. Real proud of that song. That or Heartache, but I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
Still find our way, I think.
Awesome. So we were just talking about the tour. How's the tour been for you? I mean, this is the last day. It was a blistering set outside.
We literally tore the roof off the place.
Recycle joke.
That was straight rock and roll fury. But it was good. It was fun. Love Texas. Chris and I both agree coming here is mandatory as often as possible. It's second home to us. Everybody treats us like gold. We're comfortable everywhere we go, well received. Everybody's polite and helpful and welcoming, and I love it down here. Love the people down here. Can't wait to come back.
Texas loves you guys too. Definitely. And so transitioning into Chris, you mentioned you got tours coming up and all that stuff. What else is on the horizon for you guys?
Dude, just pushing everything forward. We are, you know, it's fun being in a band because at any given time you have a million irons in the fire, right? So we have, like, you know, we talked about the recording thing. We talked about planning all these tour dates. I've been working, I've been laying in the back seat of the van working with an artist on the next T-shirts, you know, like working out all those little things and trying to make everything better. Like right now, my big focus is our stage production and getting that up and running, you know, like 'cause I want lights and the whole thing, you know, something that we can control and everything like that. So it's just ever evolving, and it's always trying to find those little pockets of, oh, that would be really cool. Let's just try that and see what happens, kind of a thing. So, you know, and just trying to keep everybody's schedules organized. That seems to be a fun little task. But yeah, I mean, that's it. We're just going to keep pushing forward until that's all we're doing at that point.
Well,
been a lot of focus on the new album that we're trying to write. Paying a little bit more attention to details on this one. Leaving no stone unturned, if you will. Thank you. So that's been keeping us busy too. That's it's so weird because some songs just roll right out, and some you really got to flip them over and dissect them and rearrange them, and so we're in the middle of that.
There's a lot of layers to these songs that I'm hearing too. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, with the layers and everything like that, because like I don't play the same way that Dave plays. So when it's my turn to play guitar, it ends up changing the song entirely, you know. So like we look at him for the technicality and the perfect notes or whatever, and I'm that punk rock player that barely puts the notes together, but it's got the attitude behind it, you know, and it just kind of makes this piece of awesome. So we spend a lot of time trying to figure out those overtones and those notes and exactly what's going on there. So,
all right. I always love to end with this question. I think I asked you back in Whiskey 6, but I'll ask both of y'all. Christopher Shayne Band in 3 words. We'll start with Dave. Or we'll start with Chris.
Dude, you hit that thing of like, do I say something that's true or clever or both? So like gears are like, well, they're a little wet. Rock and roll.
Easy. All right, Chris, you're up.
that was neither. That was. Yeah. Oh yeah, nailed it. Print it.
Awesome. Well, any last comments that you guys want to mention, talk about? Last words.
Hey, man, stay tuned. We're not done. We have a lot more stuff to do. And if you're out there, we're coming to you, especially if you're in Texas. Yeah, we're back.
Dave?
Bring us back to Texas, please. We love your beer.
My beer? Yeah. By the way, first thing they mentioned was where's the Lone Star?
Yep.
And apparently you can't get that shit shipped anywhere. So
It's awful. We've tried. Not, yep.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that. All right. Guys, this has been Rusty with Lone Star Metal, and this has been
Christopher Shayne.
David Lansing.
with the Christopher Shayne Band. See you on the flip side. Support local metal, support local shows, support local Christopher Shayne.
Yo, I get drunk, I just like